Today we'll be reading a book that's called A Twist of the Wrist 2 by Keith Code. Chapter 1. The Enemy. Survival Reactions, SRS. They come from our instinct to avoid injury, but often cause the opposite. There are 7 classic SRSs writers should know about. Survival reactions are truly automatic because they originate from a source we do not consciously monitor. For example, we do not have to monitor our eyes blink to protect the eyes when something unexpected happens. However, the reliability of these reactions is subject to question. Here he speaks about this thing that he named SRS, survival reactions. So he says that it comes from our instinct to avoid injury, but often cause the opposite. There are 7 classic SRS writers should know about. Let's see, and those are, he says, the enemy is tough, but limited in number. He calls this automatic reaction the enemy that we should conquer. And he goes into explanation about why he thinks that these are automatic, and it does make sense. So the first one is rolling off the gas. Number 2 is tightening on the bars. Number 3, narrowed and frantically hunting field of view. Number 4, fixed attention on something. Number 5, steering in the direction of the fixed attention. Number 6, no steering, frozen or ineffective, not quick enough or too early steering. Number 7, braking errors, both over and under braking. He says survival reactions, SRSs, usually affect the arms first. Your arms control steering, braking, throttle, and influence handling. A German philosopher named Schopenhauer once stated, all truth passes through 3 stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. Writing technology has undergone the same processes. This is from the book A Twist of the Wrist 2 by Keith Code. Going through a set of S's on my 200cc Ducati in 1960, I discovered countersteering. It scared me, it didn't make any sense, and I never mentioned it to anyone until the 1970s, for that fear of being told I was nuts. Countersteering didn't become a piece of understood technology until 1973. During an international conference on motorcycle safety held in San Francisco, there Dr. Harry Hurt and a group of Honda researchers each presented technical papers documenting how countersteering worked and how its conscious use could benefit motorcycle riders by making it easier to avoid collisions. The countersteering researchers had opened the door to riding improvements for everyone. But I also remember the upset and arguments created when I tried to explain countersteering to a disbelieving veteran with 20 years of riding experience. Going off the gas while sliding the rear would create an enormous handling problem. Is the bike more stable or less stable when it has the correct amount of weight on each tire? The old racing rule of when in doubt, gas it does most certainly have some validity. An extreme example of this happened to Doug Chandler at Sears Point Raceway in 1989, while he led the 950cc Supersport race on drive pavement. His rear tire was so cooked that it began to slide going into the turns simply from being off the gas. Another potential hazard of on-off the gas in high load cornering situations. One lap, he put down a strip of rubber at least 30 feet long as the back came around, and the steering went all the way to stop. Staying off the throttle would have led to, without a question, a massive high side. Of course, being the talented dirt tracker that he is, Chandler turned on the gas, the rear tire spun, and the bike wobbled as it straightened out. But he stayed on board and in the lead. To stay on the gas was the only solution. What would you have done?